drink with my best friends. Some people say we have a problem, but every night I'm making new best friends, and the only problem is we like having a good time.
Hello. Love wrestling. It's Thursday night. It is 8 p.m. You know what that means.
What does it mean?
It's another episode of Between Two Beards, episode 84.
New Year's,
of
same
Between
beards, baby.
Two Beards. Pluggo, my friend, as we let people hop on in the chat and in the room. How are we doing? Yeah, you know, all day I was like, what the fuck are we going to talk about tonight?
Yeah, there wasn't a whole
There
lot.
is not enough things for us to talk about.
The new year ended with a bang, and then it was like
Good
quiet,
Lord,
and then all of
man.
a sudden, like, I guess
Good Lord.
nothing's really happened in the wrestling world. I'm happy to report that over here at Casa de Pluggo, we have a Valentine's Day tree officially now. So we took one of the Christmas trees and made it a Valentine's Day tree, which is normal, right? Yeah, it's official.
No, it's not.
We
It's not
finished
normal
it
at all.
today. No.
No.
I think it's pretty standard practice.
Not normal at
right?
all. Not normal at all. I actually hate that, but it is what it is. It is what it is. But Pluggo, first and foremost.
Beautiful thing.
It's not. First and foremost, how we doing, my friend? How are you?
Oh, we're hanging in there, dude. Like I said, 2023. We had a decent New Year's Eve, hung out with some friends, slept in on New Year's Day, you know.
Gotta love it.
Keeping it pretty low key. I sat in a corner while my wife was partying with her friends and watched wrestling. New Year's Eve
Sounds like a wonderful night to me, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I said there, I was like, what's on the WWE Network while I'm just sitting here while everybody's partying, having a good time. Ended up watching Brock Lesnar versus Big Show in the stretcher match at Judgment Day 03. Classic way to ring in the new year, right?
Oh, man. What better way? What better way?
I'm halfway through the vacation. I've got just a few more days left of it. But, you know, we're just hanging out. We're chilling. So,
love it.
You know, what about you, my friend?
You know, we're trekking through, man. We're trekking through. It's been a tough week. It's been a tough week. We got our buddy, the boss man, popping in here saying good day, friends. Hello, friend. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, you know, it's been a tough week.
Yeah, there hasn't been anything that happened of any kind of value in the wrestling world, though.
No, you know, we got a lot to dive into tonight. But I'm doing all right. I'm doing the best I can. I almost died over the weekend. Had a combination of COVID and the flu, so that's been a fun time. But we're alive. We're here. We're kicking. And I'm ready to talk some wrestling, and we got some wrestling to talk about. We're going to talk about Mercedes Moné. We're going to talk about Wrestle Kingdom a little bit. We're going to talk about her debut and some of the other stuff that went down there. We're going to talk about the imminent potential, although Tony Storm was announced last night on Dynamite, but we'll talk a little bit about that and what that means for Mercedes.
Gotta be a swerve, right?
Dave Meltzer did report earlier today that he believes that she will not be there in AEW. So we will dive into that, discuss some of that. But the big news that came out this afternoon that I think is probably going to lead off the show is, you know, I got a little bit of an update on my phone, as we probably all did if we follow certain things. And it said Vince McMahon plotting comeback to WWE, and I just went, God damn it. I went, all right. But this is from the Wall Street Journal, and other major sites have reported it. It seems like this is something that is or might potentially be happening here. And the discourse,
a terrible idea.
Oh my God, it's awful. And the discourse that I have seen from the people that I follow on Twitter. Yes, exactly.
Wall Street Journal has been known for time or two to get a few things right, you know.
Yeah, I would say they're a fairly reputable news organization.
They're not, they're not wrestling hot takes with a Z. Even if that's a real website, I don't know if it is. I apologize for throwing you under the bus. But Wall Street Journal is up there in the terms of journalistic integrity.
Yep. So the news was, according to Lauren Thomas of the Wall Street Journal. I'm going to be reading a little bit because I do have the whole report.
We all just kind of got this right before we went on air, so it's kind of.
I got the whole report. We're going to dive in. Smooth, what's going on, my friend?
What's
the
up,
main
brother?
two beards. That's damn right, man. Hope you're well. Hope you're well, my friend. We're going to dive into this Vince McMahon news because it is a friggin' doozy.
Was working on his Twitch stream the other day. I popped in and said hello.
Yeah, you should. He's a youngster, Smooth. He's like he's a youngster.
All right.
High school kid. He's trying to start early. He sent me some pictures on the Twitter machine saying he got a little bit of an upgrade. He's got a face cam, got a couple monitors. He's trying to make that shit work. So
there you go.
Go support that kid. He's a good dude. Even though when I first met him, he was talking shit because I beat his ass in MLB The Show in a tournament. That's right.
Hey,
that's right.
Enemies can become friends, man.
That's right. He was openly in the next round. He was in the chat openly talking shit, trying to get me to lose.
When Gunnar Stahl shook the hand of Charlie Conway, enemies can become your friends. And
hey, me and him are buds. Yeah, you forgot about that. I did not. I did not, bro.
Never forget.
I never forget. Okay. I'm living that revenge life all the time. Well, I'm, hopefully you hanging out, we make you feel a little bit better.
You thought Michael Jordan's Hall of Fame speech was scorched earth. JPJ's gonna be like,
I got receipts. I got receipts for everybody. I got receipts for everybody. But all right, let's dive into this Vince McMahon news. Unbelievable.
Which, if you're in the chat, let us know your thoughts.
Unbelievable. It's like, bro, read the fucking room. Read the room. Read the room.
Retirement, Grandpa.
Morale is up. Stock prices are up. We're heading into WrestleMania season. People are excited, and you just got to come and take a giant dump all over everything. Oh my God. Sean Ross Sapp was on a little bit earlier. They had a special with him and Jimmy Van kind of talking about this because Jimmy Van owns a business. He's the right type of guy you want to listen to when it comes to the business side of things. And Sean said that since the news kind of was rumbling last week, but today he hasn't gotten one person from WWE that has been positive about this. Come on, man.
It's funny. That's how I figured out what was going on. Like I told you off air, I was kind of decompressing a little bit before the show. I like to do that after I get everything set. And then I clicked on Twitch just to see who happened to be on. And I was like, Jimmy and Sean, did they move Liston your boy to Thursday night? Like, what is this? And I clicked on it. And I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah, not great. Not great.
Bebe in the house. How are you, friend?
So it said
it'll probably be sold for some form of media company.
I think WWE is too big of a thing for that to happen. It'll get sold to an Amazon, to a Disney, to a.
I don't think you'd buy that to kill it.
No. You buy that to make money off that puppy. If Disney comes in, if Disney comes in, you can show Raw on ABC on Monday nights if you fucking want to. You can show it on ESPN2. You have a lot of capability. ESPN Plus. You have a lot of capabilities. Amazon Prime, if Amazon were to buy it, you could do Disney, whatever. You could figure it out.
And didn't Vince get WCW for like $4 million?
That's what I was just going to say, Spencer. Run it on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
you want live? If you want to start doing live content on Disney Plus, because live content is king.
Yeah,
that would be a good way to start. Hey guys, every Monday,
and you could do
every Monday, every Friday night. We got Raw on Disney Plus live at 8:00, and we got SmackDown on Disney Plus live. And if you put the whole archive and you made like a WWE page, how if you go to Disney Plus, there's the Pixar, the Marvel, the Star Wars, and the old Disney. If you made a WWE page on there, I mean, come on. I think we would all prefer that than hopping on the cock.
Well, that's what that's just what I was gonna go down, right? So if they buy this, whoever buys this is gonna buy all of it. And I think like the Peacock deal will go. So if you are like Disney and you were to buy, let's use Disney as a great example, you buy them up, you could do a similar ESPN Plus model that they do with the UFC fight pay-per-views, which would suck for us because that means you have to subscribe to ESPN Plus and then buy the pay-per-view on top of it.
Yeah,
but I mean, it would be theirs, so they could do what they want at that point.
Yeah, and Bebe says, I meant having media bosses that don't know the wrestling world and interfere. Well, you would hope.
Yeah, that's a fair point, Bebe.
And that is a fair point. That is a very fair point. You would hope that if a big company like that was going to be dropping what I assume would be billions of dollars to buy WWE, that they would at least keep a couple. Maybe they would say, hey, Hunter, we want you to still run creative. Or, hey, we're going to buy this company, but Stephanie, we would still like you to be chairwoman. Maybe they still surround it with wrestling people. What?
That's happening on the cock. We hop on Peacock to watch wrestling, Drew.
Yeah, bro, I still say to this day that I wanted to have a B2B off air. B2B
after dark. We had that earlier.
Where we watch along on Peacock, and it's called Hopping on the Cock with B2 Beards. That's what I wanted, but I understand why that couldn't happen. I apologize if that offended anybody, but I don't. But it's hilarious. Smooth, favorite baseball movie? My favorite is The Sandlot, but the best one is A League of Their Own. All right, that's what I'll say about that.
Yeah, I agree.
And we got HCW Sports. Good to see you, friends. He says it's almost like if they had their own network and put everything on there until fans bitch to companies for not carrying WWE, then you drive up the demand, you can make more money. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen. But all right, let's dive into this report. I got it right here. Jeez Louise. Culp, good to see you, my friend. We're about to dive into this Vince news.
Swogs, yeah, Vince, your daddy, Swoggles.
Yep.
He's trying to buy his company back or whatever.
It's true. And Benchwarmers is a good one.
Benchwarmers 2, not so much.
Was that David Spade, the first one, Benchwarmers, right? That was like his.
David Spade, Rob Schneider.
That whole crew there.
Yeah.
Nick Swartzen's in it. Yeah. That's the Happy Madison crew for the most part, besides Sandler, right?
Yeah,
all right.
Produced it.
So let's dive in. It says, according to Lauren Thomas of the Wall Street Journal, Mr. McMahon, Vince McMahon, is planning to return to the company and pursue a sale of the business. McMahon has reportedly told the company that he is electing himself and former co-presidents and directors Michelle Wilson and George Barrios to the board. This move will require 3 current directors to vacate their positions. All right, we got.
Stop me while I laugh through all of this.
Oh my God, dude, it's brutal. My favorite example from WCW is when a Warner rep was in on a meeting and they discussed using a foreign object in a match. The rep jumped in and said, "You can't say foreign anymore. You have to call it an international object." Supposedly a real true story. Believe Arn Anderson told that. If true, if you're not in the wrestling world, you don't get it.
Yeah.
And then what's it say? So it says.
Oh,
the report goes.
The report coming in.
Oh, I know. Smooth says that he's trying to grow that beard. Give it time, bro. This one didn't start looking like this until I was well after your age.
Yeah.
So give it time.
It takes time. Takes a few trials and errors. Mrs. Pluggo, hi, bye, love you. Feel better, honey. She's not feeling too good today.
What am I fucking chopped liver? I've had the flu all week. Where am I fucking feel better, honey?
I've told you feel better, honey.
I didn't hear no feel better, honey.
On Sunday,
son of a bitch.
Like, we need you on.
I hope you feel better, Mrs. Pluggo. Pluggo did tell me before we came on that you were not feeling well. I hope to God you don't have what I had, because Christ. We got our friend, Mr. Warren Hayes. I think I would like to, Warren, I don't know if you're free, but we're about to dive into Vince news. I don't know if you're free. If you're not, it's okay. But I'm about to read this friggin' report, and we're about to talk to this, so. But it's good to see you, even if you just want to stay in the chat and give your opinions. And send me the link. He's in. Pluggo, you want to take care of that and send Mr. Warren while I start reading this here? Thank you. I believe that's probably directed to me. At least I hope it is. Thank you. I hope you feel better too, honey. He might be.
Get a room.
Oh, shut up, Pluggo. Shut up. Anyway, sorry, you get me riled up. I'm sick. Don't make me laugh. Don't make me angry. He's going to grab a Coke Z for the. Yeah, it's going to be a doozy, Warren. Settle in.
He's angry.
Settle in. We're going to dive into Mercedes and Wrestle Kingdom after, and I know you are a New Japan guy as well. So we'll hit the gamut, but we are starting with Vince. So it says. Okay, but because Warren asked to actually, technically, did I ask him?
The mutual.
We'll work on that after. We'll work on it.
It's
after.
mutual.
Okay? It's a new year. If we use some of the budget early, we'll make it up. We'll figure it out.
It's a big news day, Spencer. Get off your high horse. It's early in the quarter. We got time.
You want to make big boy money, you got to do big boy shit, Spencer. All right, that's what we got to do.
2023.
That's what we got to do. So it says, the report goes on to state, the board responded last month in a letter to Mr. McMahon that it was prepared to initiate a review process and would welcome working with him on it. It was reportedly unanimously agreed that Mr. McMahon's return to the business would not be in the shareholders' best interest. Ophelia, things are crazy already. We're diving into the Vince news. Warren's going to be popping on here. He had to grab a Coke to prepare himself.
If I can get this to load, we'll get Warren in here. Hold on.
Yeah. What's this say? Did anyone notice Bel Air hit for hit replay of the Scary Movie fight scene?
Oh, yeah. Somebody sent that.
Wait, what was this?
Today. Oh, my God. Yes.
What was this? Someone send it to me so I can watch it after the show. Someone send it to me.
Ophelia, if you send it to him, cool, let me know, but I can send it to you. Somebody sent it to me this morning. It was like fight, punch for punch, the Scary Movie fight.
Warren saw it. Am I the only one that missed this?
It was crazy. Warren, I got you linked up. Spencer.
Oh, yeah, they're having the World Junior Finals, right? I believe, Ophelia, Canada is in the World Junior Finals. So she's hopping in. I'm sure she'll probably vacate when the next period starts. And, you know, it is what it is. Canada, they love them some hockey. So then, and I don't know if I should wait. No, we'll just, Warren's in the chat. We'll be all right. But this is where it gets, oh, look at, there he is.
He's fast.
I'm going to pop him in. He's quick. All right, I'm popping him in. He's on. So this is
Happy New Year, Warren.
Happy New Year,
sir. Happy New Year, sir. All right. So this is where, to me, it gets downright like you know, egomaniac, as we know he is. But it says McMahon has reportedly communicated to the board that unless he has direct involvement as the executive chairman, so not even coming back with direct involvement. No, I need to come back as this role from the outset. So from the beginning of a strategic review, he will not support or approve any media rights deal or sale. WWE media rights for WWE Raw and SmackDown are reportedly set to be negotiated in the near future as the contracts for both shows end in 2024. McMahon confirmed the news that he is taking action to return to the company and participate in media rights negotiations. And then I have the actual press release where we can kind of dive into here or there. But it sounds to me that Vince is going, hey, I want to come back. I don't give a shit that you don't want me to come back, because if you don't let me come back, I'm not approving shit. So I'm not doing anything until you let me come back.
If you don't,
so you either let me come back, or it's going to be a tough time for you. Or it's going to be a tough time for you.
Sounds like my damn kids. Man.
It sounds like Vince McMahon is what it sounds like.
Well, I mean, look, if we're completely honest with each other,
holding the company hostage.
Oh, and Bay 316 says he is they are absolutely right. I mean, this is exactly what he's doing. He's just look. I think all of us, or at least most of us who followed Vince throughout all steps of his career, this guy wanted to die in gorilla position, right? That's what he wanted to do. There was no way he was going to ever give up the company. And I think this is something that eluded many folks when Vince retired, or should we say resigned from the company? Because that's the terminology that the board and that the executives have been using, right? That he resigned from the company. He should. Hey, what's up? The one thing that I think eluded everyone is just how shocking it was that Vince was like, okay, I'm going to step away, because all his life Vince has been, they're all out to get me, and I'm going to prove them wrong. I fought the government multiple times. I fought billionaire Ted, and I won. I've won every time. So of course he's sitting back and, whatever he's doing now, like you can't even imagine Vince, what he's doing with his time off.
I know.
And he's stewing. He's just sitting around just like, I got some bad advice, pal. I don't know what I did. Yeah. I got talked into something I didn't want to do.
Who gave him the bad advice? The people that want the company to run smoothly.
I mean, the reports came out, a month ago, a month and a half ago, where he openly was saying, I got bad advice by people and I should not have stepped away.
That was in a Wall Street Journal report. Yes,
correct.
That's what they were reporting, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
And
correct.
that he was like contemplating coming back. And even then, we were like, well, he could, but I mean, it's nonsense. But the read here is absolutely correct. That everyone he is absolutely saying, put me back in charge or I will never approve a sale. Because lest we forget, I think we should mention this just to make sure everything is clear. Vince is the majority. He holds the majority of voting power on the board.
Because like 80%, right?
Exactly, because he owns Class B stock in the company, which gives every one of his votes 10 times the voting power. So if Warren Hayes were to buy a Class A share of WWE, and I would not, FYI, I would have one voting power with an A class share. The two other people who own, because there's only 3 people who own B class stock in that company. It's Vince, it's Stephanie, and it's Linda. Mm-hmm. And Stephanie, if I'm not mistaken, she has like 18% of the remaining B stock. So she can't outvote Vince, even if she disagreed, she can't. Mm-hmm. Right. And Linda has like 2%, something like that.
Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah.
And
so even outside, like let's just move everything aside here. This is something that I've been talking about, at least on the podcast, is on my own. If Vince were to, even if Vince didn't want to pull this shit here, even if any sign of a sale, Vince McMahon has to give his okay.
Yeah,
he absolutely, because even if all of the shareholders, the thousands of shareholders agree that it should be sold, Vince has 80% of the voting power. So if Vince says no, it's no.
Yeah. Man almighty. And then the press release goes on to say the actions communicated to WWE's board of directors today via written consent include the election to the board of Mr. McMahon, as well as Michelle Wilson and George Barrios, who used to work under Mr. McMahon, who...
We have to talk about that.
Yes, because these are 2 people that basically, if you want to cut it at its bare minimum, Vince made these people rich. Vince made these people who they are.
These are his people.
These are his people, and he wants them to come back, which means that they have to remove 3 people who are probably going to be against Vince on the board. You're out of here. We're in here. Because they're going to support me because I made them. And then you're going to get the votes that he needs
his retirement.
Because he never wanted to retire.
He never wanted. Vince never took vacations. What are we even talking about? He doesn't know how to relax. He doesn't know what. I
know, but he should learn because, and on top of that, I mean, we've talked about it, Warren, a bunch of times on this show when you've been on, and you haven't been exactly the biggest fan of Triple H's moves that he's made so far, but the overwhelming consensus with the majority is that it has been a better product, and at least the environment is more
morale of the talent, according to people like Sean Ross Sapp.
Absolutely,
that's morale of the talent, morale of just everybody.
Yes,
stock price has been going the right way. You're about to hit WrestleMania season. People are excited. They're jazzed up. And Vince is like, I'm going to take a huge dump on all this. Let's go. Let's party. And it's like, what the fuck? Leave the fucking room, buddy.
Could they recover from this? If Vince burnt this down because he's not happy, can they recover?
He can. He has the power to do whatever he wants.
Can you imagine how William Regal feels right now? Anyway,
oh my God.
Let's take a step back, because there's I mean, these are all great points, and you're absolutely right. Like I know that the morale in WWE is better, and the people that are bringing back, like, I know that the environment is better. That is without question, and it is something to the detriment of AEW, because one of the biggest strengths that AEW had versus WWE is that AEW didn't have Vince. For real though. I mean, that was a big deal. So, anyway. But let's go back to Wilson and Barrios. If we recall, the architects of the WWE network are those two people. Yeah. That was their baby. And they got fired because when Vince decided that we were no longer selling our content direct to consumer, right? We are going to license it out. That's when he brought Nick Khan in, because Nick Khan has been in that environment for years and he's a shark. So he knows exactly. And I mean, it's been going well. I think Nick Khan handling the business side of WWE, it has been going swimmingly. It's been fine. Now circling back to Wilson and Barrios though, when they were in power, the stock price of WWE reached an all-time high, $100 a share, right? So Vince right now, what he's doing by doing this, he's telling the shareholders, no, don't worry, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Look, I'm not coming in here unprepared and just to throw my weight around. Look, just to make sure everyone understands that I'm on your side, I am bringing back these two people who created much value for you back in the day, back when the shares were at $100 a pop. Remember those good old the halcyon days? I'm bringing those back by bringing these two people back again. Now let's not forget, he's bringing them back, but as members of the board, not executives, right? So members of the board, and you mentioned it as well, Joe. They're going to have to kick some people out of the board. Yeah. And the board, if I'm not mistaken, the shareholders meeting is in April or something like that. It's soonish anyway, like maybe the end of the first quarter, but it's coming up. And this is where these kinds of decisions are taken. So it's not like Barrios and Wilson are going to come back and suddenly we're going to revitalize the WWE network. That's not it. Vince is doing what Vince does best and is putting on a show. And making sure that everyone is he wants to drive down your throat that, no, don't worry, everything's going to be fine. So the fact that he mentions those two people in that press release, it is absolutely to comfort the shareholders.
Yep, 100%. And you even have our buddy Drew saying, "How would you feel right now if you were Bray Wyatt?" If you talk like morale of the, there are a lot of people Triple H has brought back, regardless of that report that says he wasn't happy, whatever. But there are a lot of people that have come back that were let go and fired because of Vince, and everything we heard about somebody like a Bray Wyatt, who he had ongoing problems. Vince would make comments about his weight, said, "You're useless, get out of here," all this shit. He comes back. He's in the middle, regardless of the dragging out of thing, but like he's in the middle. He's in a prominent role. He's back now, still popular, all this stuff. He's sitting there going like, I better not have to fucking deal with this guy anymore. And I better not have to deal with And, Spencer saying truly just a terrible situation overall. And I do not like it. And he apologizes for his strong language. You got HCW Sports saying a product of a WWE type promotion would appear after the destruction plug of so many sharks in the water who have been waiting for Vince to leave the scene so they can take over. Vince destroys it, then it rebuilds in some form.
Yeah. Could you do me a favor, JPJ? Could you translate in Boston speak what the strong language that Spencer just used?
Oh yeah,
for us Americans. That's
yeah. Do I have to do Boston speak? But anyway, what Spencer's trying to say is this fucking sucks. Anyway. All right. I think that's what he's trying to say. I think that's I could be wrong.
For us American folk,
but I'm pretty sure what he's saying is this is the shits. And the form of Bret Hart, this is the shits, as you would say.
I'm no expert in all of like the financial things, but when I saw the headline that Vince wasn't going to like sign off on any rights deals, and I keep thinking, okay, well, your television rights deals are coming up in the nearish future. Like, are you going to just not have a television program? Like, no. What are you doing? Is it all a scare tactic?
it's coming soon because historically, WWE has finalized its negotiations in the spring, and the deal is up next year. So negotiations is now.
Right.
And historically, but for real, historically, they've closed out their deals in the spring, the past 2 or 3 deals.
Mm-hmm.
So here's another thing that I got from the press release, and maybe you already talked about it because I just jumped in here. Oh yes, we do say bad things. So come on,
I've had to mute the Mr. Warren H show with my kids in the car sometimes.
Yeah, no, but as much as people say Canadians are so nice, so on and so forth. Like Spencer takes it to another level. Like Spencer, even by Canadian standards, is really nice, and I mean that in the sweetest way possible. I don't want to sound like I'm trying. Anyway,
we're still on the air, so he's just too nice.
When we get to what were we talking about? We were talking about
the finance, the rights deals, and if
the rights deals, 2020
negotiations.
So the other thing that I gleaned from this is that I think Vince wants to accelerate a sale before the rights deals get finalized.
That's what I was leaning towards too. I was like, the rights deals aren't up until 2024. So even let's just say it's January 1st, 2024. That's a year from now. Like, yes,
still have a full year.
Yeah, but like the talks are obviously going on, but like you don't need to come back right now if you only care about that. You know what I mean?
But the point is like I said, historically speaking, they get this done in They get this done in I can translate that too if you want.
Yeah.
The point being that they get their rights deals finished in the spring, right? That's usually where, because all these people have contracts, and all these people, all these executives, all these salespeople, it's not just the rights deal in and about itself, right? It's not just the idea afterwards that you settle your rights deals months in advance before the launch of whatever, because your salespeople have ad space to sell. You have to know what's being promoted, broadcast at that specific hour on that specific day. So sure, they could take the rest of the year to renegotiate. They could come up with something in November. Mm-hmm. But I can promise you one thing: there's no one in the network who's going to be happy about that. No. The earlier you renegotiate, you get everything settled, then the sales teams can go out, and because marketers, trust me, this is what I do for a living. We need long-term calendars. We need to know what's happening down the line. Because that's just how it goes. That's because we need to plan out the money. Because that's where the money goes. It's really just as simple as that. And here's something else in this stream of consciousness that I have right now. The other thing, and I didn't check because I just popped in and said hello everyone. But it seems to me that the shareholders, like during the last earnings call, or was it the previous one? I don't quite remember. But the shareholders had said, they had come to some form of resolution where they did not want Vince McMahon back, right? Did I?
Yeah, I have that on here. It says, let me see here.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Do the TV networks want Vince's involvement back? Does that make the number look?
Sponsors want, because they put a pause on ad space sales. For a while, sponsors were like, no, all of this is on pause because we don't know what's going on. So the sponsors don't necessarily want this. Right. Do you think Progressive Auto Insurance want to be associated with, Vince, who's, sexually assaulting women in day spas? Like, what the fuck, Yeah,
exactly. Right. Yeah. So it says, at least earlier before the press release, it says the report goes on to state the board responded last month in a letter to Mr. McMahon that it was prepared to initiate a review process and would welcome working with him on it. It was reportedly unanimously agreed that Mr. McMahon's return to the business would not be in the shareholders' best interest.
And I'm sure he loved that.
Oh, bad. And then it goes on. So it says, Mr. McMahon expects to assume the role of executive chairman of the board. It says his new role will enable unified decision-making through the company's upcoming media rights negotiations and a parallel full review of the company's strategic alternatives, which Mr. McMahon believes is the right course of action and in the best interests of WWE and the shareholders amidst the current dynamics in the media and entertainment industry.
He sounds like one of my children who don't get their way going, well, the rest of you aren't having fun today then. I'm ruining this whole dinner. You didn't give me what I wanted, Dad. I'm shutting all of it down.
And then this is a quote from Vince. It says, quote, WWE is entering a critical juncture in its history with the upcoming media rights negotiations coinciding with increased industry-wide demand for quality content and live events, and with more companies seeking to own intellectual property on their platforms. What is this? What are you doing here?
Too smooth. That's what I'm drinking.
Oh, yeah, that's what you're drinking.
Waterloo Summerberry.
It says the only way for WWE to fully capitalize on this opportunity is for me to return as executive chairman and support the management team in the negotiations for our media rights, and to combine that with a review of strategic alternatives. My return will allow WWE, as well as any transaction counterparties, to engage in these processes, knowing they will have the support of the controlling shareholder.
Look, it's black and white, fellas. It's right there.
Without me, you get nothing.
We got Spencer calling it Vince in the Rumble. Oh no!
Here's something very interesting. You want to hear a strategic alternative? Here's a strategic alternative for you. Whatever happened to Alpha Entertainment? Remember that company he created for the XFL?
Yep.
Yeah, they sold.
What if Alpha Entertainment buys WWE?
Maybe.
What if he goes and sees Endeavor, right? Who does Endeavor own, right? UFC.
Yeah.
So what if he goes to see Endeavor, Dana White?
Yeah. Who's in his own little bit of a mess
nowadays. I was
going to say,
Dana White, he's having some issues now too.
Jeez.
Yeah, but Dana White and Vince McMahon are, birds of a feather. Let's put it that way.
Oh yeah.
So if Vince goes to see Dana and he says, "Look, let's do this. We've been this close to kissing for the past 2 decades or so. Let's just full on make out and do this." And let's Endeavor gets a share into Alpha Entertainment, and Vince arrives with his purchasing group.
Yeah.
And WWE is sold to Alpha Entertainment, and leveraging Endeavor's network deals, its own series of connections with I say network, but not network, broadcasting or pay-per-views and live events. I mean, we're just spitballing here, but Jesus Christ.
Could another company in that vein? Could a company buy it and just appoint Vince?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so like if we wanted to, the three of us, if we had the money, we could just buy it and be like, well, we're going to bring Vince in. Well,
Vince has to agree, right? This is always the thing. Vince has to agree because he has 80% of the share. So even if we come with a gazooblion dollars, which is, by the way, a lot of money, okay?
How does that translate to Canada?
Listen, it doesn't matter, but we come in, let's say, with trillions of dollars, way above what WWE says. And Vince says, I agree to your terms if I am the CEO of the company. And we say no, he can say, well, then go fuck yourselves. No. I'm not accepting your offer. That's the thing. And I think Pluggo said it though, right? It's like, bring me in. I'm going to make sure that I have some protections on my end, right? Didn't you say that?
Yeah, that's what he wants. Essentially, he wants.
That's what it seems like. He's bringing his 2 people in, so he has.
But he's bringing his people. But on the sale, he's going to have his own conditions on top of that. He's
for like, sure.
I have to remain CEO. I have to have these types of protections. You motherfuckers can't kick me out, kind of thing. Oops, excuse me. But that's
You earned it earlier by buttering up Spencer. You can curse a little bit now. It's fine.
I'm putting.
He's still blushing from 20 minutes ago when you said how neat he was.
I gotta be careful because they're cracking down on YouTube now. The swearing on YouTube is getting really, really rough now. It's getting
really?
for real. Are they
YouTube
cracking it down for real? I did not know that.
I got to be careful.
Do they strike? Do they strike you if it's too much? Like, is it one of those things, or they just you go out of the algorithm?
You get demonetized, and then when you get demonetized, well, you're not as popular in the algorithm. Yeah, that's
so we're gonna have a PG family friendly Warren Hayes show.
Hang on.
PG-13, maybe PG-13.
They unfurled this, and then people start getting demonetized right and left, and they unfurled the policy without really announcing it. So everyone is sort of like guessing at this point, and there's people literally just putting out videos and just trying things out, just saying all sorts of crazy nonsense. There's people who are being demonetized because there's too much video game violence on their.
Really?
Yeah, wow. No, it's really strange what's going on right now over on YouTube. So I myself have to be careful.
Yeah. Oh. All right. So I guess, and there's a whole second part with quotes from Vince that that we'll dive into, but I'll ask this question beforehand. So it seems like it has been prefaced that Vince is saying, hey, I want to come back, but I only want to come back just to deal with the rights deal and deal with the potential sale of the company. However, and we're only on Twitch, so I can say this, I call bullshit. And I don't know if I truly believe that those are Vince's only, because why would I? Everything that we know about Vince, like you said, I think, he's trying to make it, hey guys, I'm just coming back. I just want to make sure the future of the company is in good hands. I just want to make sure we're getting the most money we can get in the rights and the sale. But once he's back, he's back. And once he's back and allowed back and he's in role again of executive chairman, is there any point he goes, hey, Hunter, fuck off. I'm in charge of creative again. I'm back. You're back going. Go back to NXT, son. Go back to NXT. That's your baby. See you later. I'm in charge. It's WrestleMania season. I know what we're doing. Doing this forever. We're bringing Goldberg back. We're having Bray Wyatt lose in the Saudi show in February. That's what we're doing.
I thought I fired all these people.
Exactly. Oh, I thought I let all these people go. You're gone. See you later. And again, part of the morale that we talked about with wrestlers, guess what? Does Vince McMahon coming back mean there'll be more this is what he does. It's what he does. And if he's coming back, and even if he's just using the terms sale, well, guess what? Do you know what happens a lot of times when big companies sell? There are mass fucking layoffs when big companies sell to other companies. Mass.
Which is what I absolutely 100% thought WWE was getting ready to do by laying off
all those people.
Over the scope of 13 months. I'm convinced, and we're talking about talent, but don't forget they fired a whole bunch of people in their media department. They merged TV and media in the same way. Oh my God.
Yeah. You notice how Spencer already got rid of Austin again? He said theory. He didn't even include Austin again. He just knew. He just knew. That's what we call professional, people. That's what we call a professional.
He's in Gorilla. He sees Austin Theory walk up and says, Where's your phone? Where's your iPhone, kid?
Exactly. Yeah, right here, baby. Austin Theory's back to taking selfies again. Oh, man. But all right. So Vince did go on to say, quote, he goes, Miss Wilson and Mr. Barrios are highly qualified directors whose professional experience positions them well to help the company achieve the best possible outcomes in both initiatives. As former WWE co-presidents and board members, they are intimately familiar with industry dynamics and the organization's operations and have helped guide the company through past successful media rights negotiations. I look forward to working closely again with Michelle and George, who I fired, as well as the company's remaining directors and management team, who have my full support and confidence. WWE has an exceptional management team in place, and I do not intend for my return to have any impact on their roles, duties, or responsibilities, end quote. Do we believe him when it comes to the end there where he says, nope, I don't want to affect anything that's going on there. Everyone, Khan, Steph, Paul, they're all in their roles. They're a great management team. I do not intend to mess with that. I am coming back strictly for this. Do we, because I don't, I openly said I don't, but do we believe him? Do you believe him? Is there any reason that tells us we should? Because in my opinion,
did you guys listen to the conference calls? The earnings calls?
I didn't listen to every one of them, but like I would hear the highlights, and if I was around, I would, but I didn't really dive into a bunch of them. No.
It's the kind of shit I like, so I like listening to it. And the past 2 or 3 that Vince was on, right? Because obviously he wasn't on the last one. Mm-hmm. There was a change in the dynamic, and it came about when there was this was interesting. When Nick was on, Vince would, typically answer all the questions, and he'd field all the questions, set up the whole presentation, and so on and so forth. It'd be all Vince. Then when Nick came on, he started deferring a lot to Nick and to Steph, and letting them, and who's the other guy? The financial dude. Anyway, his name is just slipping my mind, but he would speak less and less on those things, right?
Yeah. And
I always found it curious because I'm like, well, what is he, why is he not commenting on, growth numbers and successes and the targets we've been hitting in our KPIs? And he'd defer the entire thing, and all of it, and you'd hear very little of Vince, which would lead people to think, at the very least, that he's not involved in this shit anymore. He does the creative. He's always been in the creative because that's what he likes. That's what he loves. Mm-hmm. So I am with you. I would if he comes back, I think he's going to muscle his way back to where
eventually. It might not happen right away, but I have no reason to believe that if he comes back next week,
he
and all of a
keep
sudden
his hand off
we're getting closer and closer to WrestleMania season and all this, his baby, and he's going to be like, hey, why don't we do this for WrestleMania?
If you think that Vince, if you think that it's not possible for Vince to return and not take over creative, right? And be like, nah, we're going to leave creative be. If you think that's a thing, I would like to turn to this press release where he says, I am not selling this company unless I'm the president again, unless I'm the chief executive.
The only person that's excited about that is Bruce Pritchard finally gets to get out of that little Shane's put him
maybe
in,
Laurinaitis.
Laurinaitis is like, come on, baby.
Yeah. He's got his phone going. He's checking his phone every 5 minutes. And he's like, oh, yeah, okay. The sound is on. I won't miss the call. The sound is on. It's cool.
Yeah.
Why hasn't he got back? And all of this is crazy. And then, how, last time you were on, we were talking about, the AEW talent that had been rumored to maybe going back to WWE. And then if I'm sitting in AEW, I go, maybe I just wait this out.
Well, listen, I was listening to Brandon Thurston a little earlier. He did a stream over on WrestleNomics to talk about this, and he, a person in the chat asked him the questions: is this good or bad for AEW? And he flat out said, and I agree with him 100%. So he flat out said, if I'm AEW, I think this is a good thing. I want Vince back sitting there because then
I would agree.
I become the top recruiter once again. Now the field's a little more level, but with Vince back, sure. Absolutely, it becomes the scales tip in AEW's favor as far as talent recruitment, right? We're being clear here. I'm not saying suddenly AEW's ratings are going through the roof and they'll be doing stadium shows within a year. That's not what I'm saying. We're talking talent. Mm-hmm. It's going to become the destination for talent once again.
They might with that new set they had last night.
It was snazzy looking. I liked it. And Warren does a Dynamite review that he releases on Thursdays, which is always a good thing to listen to. But yeah, and after this Vince dialogue, I do want to dive into a little bit of Wrestle Kingdom. I want to talk about Mercedes, get your opinion on Mercedes. I know you were very vocal, and I appreciated you saying so on social media, saying, like, why does anybody want to get into the discourse about this situation? It is awful. I talked about it with Drew this morning on Firmly AEW a little bit. But I do want to dive into that. But obviously the big news of the afternoon is this Vince stuff. It seems to me, obviously this is happening. He has all the power. It's happening. There's nobody there's no way for this not to happen, right? Nobody can stop this or him from doing this. So it's happening.
I don't see why it wouldn't happen. There's probably
they come back though, and Barrios and Wilson get back on the board, and they turn on him, and they go, "Remember when you fired us?" No.
Heel turn?
No, it would never happen.
There's always a plan B.
Exactly. And then Hunter just stands up at the table and he's like, "What's up? Remember that time you fired all my people when I was recovering from a heart attack? You piece of shit." Anyway, sorry. Anyway, but yeah, it seems to be that this is happening. And like you said, Warren, there's nobody that can do anything about it. You can't stop the guy from coming back if he's the guy that has the final say. So it's a matter of time.
I think unless there's some, look, I'm not going to pretend to be I can navigate the waters, but I'm not, you have to give me a compass and, a high performing radar. Like I couldn't navigate just using the constellations and the stars kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can navigate through these waters, but I'm no expert by any means. Right. So maybe, just maybe, there's some legal way that the existing executives can put a stop to this, but it feels like a fight. It feels like a legal battle that Vince would have no issues to drag out, right?
Absolutely.
No issues at all. Wouldn't even guarantee they would win on top of that. I read some people saying, yeah, but public opinion is against him. Look, Vince doesn't give a about public opinion right now.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what he's doing. Look at what he's doing. Yep. He's like, yeah, all these allegations pop up. Rita Chatterton is back in the picture, and there's another girl from a spa down in California. No, I don't give a shit. I'm coming back.
Yep.
Well, the worst part about it is we saw it when he left. The people still in the WWE universe, so he's still got a lot of people that are like, we don't care about that stuff. We want him back. And it's like, that's the only way like this is going to hurt him, is if the ratings drop and we stop putting money in his pocket. But they're $1 billion
like the only argument
really hard.
The only argument really that the new management has is to say everything is good. Ratings are up, live attendance is great. But even there, Vince is saying in his press release, essentially saying, these guys are taking too long to sell this company. Shareholders, you want this company sold? I'm going to do it for you. And what happened today? Aftermarket trading, stocks are up. Why? Because we're talking about sales. And shareholders like to hear talk about selling a company, so that pushes the stock price up. That's just normal. That's how it goes. So of course the shareholders want a sale. They want the best possible bang for their buck. So they want a high stock point, a price point for their stock. Excuse me.
An ROI, return on investment.
There you go. There you go. So
moving up in the world, using them big words, bro. Using them big words. I'm proud of you. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's just, damn, it's
gross. I don't like
it. As far as, let's say, like, general wrestling fan bullshit, outside of the real corporate stuff that actually affects millions of dollars and the jobs of thousands of people. There's Vince comes back. He's back in Gorilla. And there is
there's nobody's going to
anyone
stop
who thinks the opposite is naive, is probably new, or is just completely blind to the fact.
Well, there's no company. I don't think there's any company anywhere that like the guy that owns it wants to come on down to. If the CEO of McDonald's wants to work on the fry line, he has every
Well,
right to do so. So if Vince says, I own this, I want to be in charge of your
Elon Musk is doing Twitter support for some certain types of people on Twitter. So,
Yeah.
you know.
We want to say, Smooth saying that he's starting to learn a little bit about wrestling. Well, we're glad we can help you a little bit. Thanks for the highlighted message, by the way. And Drew has a question here. He said, wouldn't this infighting within the company make potential buyers and cable channel execs potentially want to stay away or maybe give them concern? Or is it really just money talks?
Drew brings up an excellent point because this will only matter in the strengths of the relationships that exist, and this is information that we do not have because it's all boardroom talk. It's all behind the scenes, and it's not quantifiable. It's not numbers. It's not percentages. It's all qualities, right? It's quantifiable. It's not qualifiable. It's qualifiable, not quantifiable. Hi, Josh.
Hi, Josh. Good to see you.
We're talking about the history of wrestling mats again.
Yeah, exactly. Anything new going on today? Yeah, no, we've been talking. Yeah, exactly. This last 56 minutes, we haven't been talking about Vince McMahon at all.
And
we've been talking about the history of how wrestling bells are made.
Don't bring.
So I guess before we put a bow on the Vince topic and we move on, you did say like the only argument maybe the Vince. I think at this point we all wish we didn't anymore. But yeah, you know, so let's say like you said, everything's good. Live attendance is up. The ratings are up. The stockholder price is pretty good. It's doing okay. It's working the right way. What if this comes out today? This news drops today. And what if over the next week, the stock price just goes right down? Really bad. Is that an argument for the shareholders to be like, no?
Again,
even though Vince can say, like, I don't give a shit what you think. Yeah, he has the final say, so I guess it doesn't matter.
Like, it could tank to $23. You know, if Vince is essentially going to do what he wants at this point. Like, this was his fire. He showed his hand. Okay, this is the thing too, right? Is that he's shown his hand where he's like, I'm coming back and I'm bringing these two people with me, and we're going to sell this whether you like it or not.
Because I'm not allowing you to unless I'm back anyway. So
yeah. So he has something up his sleeve. Otherwise, it's bluster and idiocy, which I don't think as bluster for Vince McMahon, sure. An idiot, I don't think so. Not as far as business goes. Yep. The man would not be the most successful wrestling promoter of all time if he was a complete moron. Mm-hmm. He's not. Vince has a lot of problems, but being business savvy ain't one of them. So he has something up his sleeve. Otherwise, he would have never done this. He would have never done this if he wasn't ready.
Do you think he takes the belts off of Roman at WrestleMania? If you're not going to let, I'm not selling it. I'm winning these titles before I die.
But listen, like this is what we were speculating. Maybe there's something. But I'm not versed in corporate law enough to say what if the minority of shareholders revolt, quote unquote. Like just to use an image here. I don't know how that could go. Are there provisions that exist in the charter to avoid this kind of stuff? I don't know. I don't have the charter. So maybe not, but clearly Vince is like, nothing is moving without me being a part of this. And I'm going to be in charge of create. He didn't say that, but if he comes back in,
oh my God,
he's sitting back at Gorilla and he's tearing up scripts an hour before live programming.
Oh my God, please no. Please no.
T-Bar, welcome back to the main.
Exactly.
Welcome back.
There you go. Vince McMahon versus Pat McAfee 2 Electric Boogaloo, WrestleMania 39.
Hey, Pat McAfee could have another nice long interview with him to say, so Vince, how was retirement? You know, he could do one of those.
Yeah, unbelievable. All right, well, we spent the whole first hour. Warren, this was not planned, but once I saw him in there, I was like, you know what? I want to hear his opinion because I'm sure it's a good one on Vince. So we got Warren here. He's going to hang around. let's take a little break. We'll show a
If
little
he
video
wants,
about one of
if
our
he
sponsors,
wants.
Manscaped. And if Warren wants
Does he
to
have
hang
enough
around,
Coke Zero?
if he has enough Coke Zero and wants to hang
Send him
around, let's talk some Mercedes Varnado, some Wrestle Kingdom, and maybe dive into some AEW. And if a tag team partner for Soraya was announced last night, but let's see, we can kind of talk about all that as one a little bit. So let's take a couple minute break. We're going to look at our buddy Zach, the alien, talking about Manscaped for a few minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll dive into some Wrestle Kingdom and Mercedes and some other stuff like that. So here is Zach talking about one of our sponsors, manscaped.com.
Hi friends, Zach from lovewrestling.ca here, and I'm here with a package generously given to us from our new friends at manscaped.com. I just thought I'd take the time to unbox and share the contents with you here today. The first thing I want to say is I really appreciate the discretion of this packaging. I need more secrets with my postman, not less. Okay, so first thing I got here is a t-shirt. Your balls will thank you. You mean that figuratively, right? Like they're not gonna, become sentient and make decisions for me. They already make enough decisions for me. When I was unpackaging it, I really appreciated the discretion here, but I also, I admire the confidence and the boldness on the very back of this t-shirt. I have been excited about this for days. Get the big packaging out of the way. Big package. Holy cow. I did not expect this. This is impressive. Most lowly with the blade side up. Always use with care. I think I can do that. 4.0 will help reduce nicks, folks, but you gotta use it properly. There's a pull thing. There's a pull tab underneath. Jeez, this box never ends. It's like a little adventure. Got some crop preserver, anti-chafing ball deodorant. Very refreshing. Very nice, pleasant odor. It's not like perfumey. It's just like, it's just very fresh. I like that. And then we got the crop reviver. Sorry about the glare. That's awful. So I got the preserver and the revivers. If I forget to use the preserver, then I got the reviver to help me. I've played RPGs. And lastly, the main event. There it is, the Lawnmower 4.0. Very nice, very light. It says I'm supposed to charge it first, but I'm wondering. Oh yeah, there we go. Can hear that baby purr. Oh, it's got a little light too. How handy is that? Well, friends, this is a very nice product. If you want to get your hand on the Lawnmower 4.0 from Manscaped, just head over to manscaped.com, and I'm even going to do you one better. Just enter our promo code LOVEWRESTLING. You're going to get 20% off, and you're going to get free shipping. How good is that? And thank you once again to manscaped.com for this very generous Lawnmower 4.0 and accessories and t-shirt. My name is Zach Ralph. Thanks for tuning in.
There we go. That's our buddy Zach talking about some manscaped.com. As you can see on the scroll below us, go to manscaped.com. You put in that promo code Love Wrestling, you will get 20% off plus free shipping. Pluggo, where? Where's that free shipping? Worldwide, baby. You can be living in friggin' the North Pole, Antarctica, anywhere. Free shipping. Manscaped.com, promo code Love Wrestling. 20% off and free shipping. Spencer, I agree wholeheartedly. Zach's sheer enthusiasm makes my heart warm. And Ophelia, I agree as well. Missed opportunity to use sheer.
Anytime you can get Zark talking about his balls is a good day.
Yeah, all right. Earlier this week, a couple days ago, we had Wrestle Kingdom 17. And it was a good one. It was a good one. I stayed up. I watched it because I've been deathly ill and I didn't have to go to work. So I just kind of lounged around. I watched it. It was very, very good. There were a few things to discuss here. But one of the main ones, the one that people were waiting for, and we saw it happen, was Mercedes Varnado, formerly known as Sasha Banks, did make her NJPW debut.
Kept secret in wrestling.
Yeah, yep. She did make her debut. She showed up after the IWGP Women's Title match in which Kairi Sane retained against, was it Tam? What was her name? Tom Nakano. So she retained, and it was a quick match. It was a 5 or 6 minute match. It was quicker. I would have liked some more time for that match in general, but I get it. It was the first real IWGP Women's Championship match at Wrestle Kingdom, but I think they should have got a little bit more time. But regardless of that, we then saw the new video, the new song. We saw the look with the head, not headdress, but the head.
Sure, headdress.
Headdress,
sure.
right? That's proper, right? The headdress she was wearing. We saw the outfit. She came in. We saw the face-to-face, the handshake, then the attack, then the promo. And again, we're not going to dive into the discourse about it, but there were some people that thought it might have fell flat a little bit. I think some of those people might not have understood how a Japanese audience reacts to certain things. I think for some people who might have been watching Wrestle Kingdom for the first time or not being so familiar with Japanese wrestling, they don't, not everyone, but they don't jump up and holler and scream and chant and do all these things that we're used to over here in North America. You know, and again, we'll dive into this a little bit after, but if Mercedes shows up on Dynamite next week, I think you're going to get that reaction that some people might have been thinking they were going to get. I know. Why would she show up? There's already a set tag team match, is there not? But I think you might get that reaction. Yeah, I think you might get that reaction that people who might not be too familiar with Japanese wrestling fans, and they might have been respecting. I don't think it necessarily fell flat. I thought it was a great moment. I was excited as I thought I would be. Warren, you are definitely more well-versed in Japanese professional wrestling and New Japan in general than myself and Pluggo. What were your opinions of this moment, of the situation, and what do you have to say? Do you think it did fall flat? Like, just what were your general opinions of the debut here and what we saw from Mercedes?
I didn't think it was great.
Okay, there you go. And this is fair.
And even by the standards that you do in Japan, because look, you're right to the degree where Japanese audiences these days, because it wasn't always the case. You go back and you watch things from the 80s, the 90s, and these Japanese audiences got crazy, But now that, they're very reserved, very polite, when they don't hold up signs, they'll bring signs, but they don't hold them up because they don't want to hide.
Somebody's actually behind them who might have paid to watch the show.
And they'll hold it like this, You'll always see people with Japanese signs, with signs for wrestlers, and shit will be written, but here, that's why they'll be holding it right up against their chest. So they're a very, very polite crowd. So yes, but no, there's no like huge pops, when someone comes out. So to a degree, I understand someone who is just like, who's been fed WWE for the past 2 decades, sees this and is like, well, where's the pop? But WWE fans they pop for entrances. Yeah. Right? But in New Japan, people go, yeah. And you know what they'll do? This is what they do. This is why. Like, this is crazy. Japanese audiences they'll pop for the action.
But novel concept, huh? Novel concept.
Right?
Hold on. Say that one more time.
Cool moves.
Say that one more time for Pluggo.
Japanese fans they will pop for the action.
What? What? The hell's going on over here? New year, different. What the? Oh,
but then again, I don't like. I don't want to I don't want to say, oh, she didn't get a reaction, which she did when she did the turn. The audience gasped. They went, oh, and that's pop-ish for Japanese crowds. So it's not that it was completely a dud. Now, I had questions going into this. Do Japanese people know who FKA Sasha Banks is? Maybe. I would assume that most of them probably don't. I just assume as much. Why otherwise would we assume that everyone here knows who Kazuchika Okada is?
It's true.
Right? Okay. So maybe they're just like, oh, so on and so forth. But the way it was produced, the way it was done, it was a typical New Japan post-match angle where the champion is in the ring, has their belt, challenger comes out, points at the belt. They do the stare down. They take long enough to take the pictures, and then shit happens, and then someone cuts a promo. Even Kristen, who's used to watching Stardom a lot more than I am, she was like, "Well, why didn't Kyrie get the microphone?" Well, in New Japan, that's not what they do. You have one guy on the mic. He does his thing. Let's say he attacks him, and he says his thing, and then he leaves. Do they usually not do a ton of back-to-back promos? No. Okay. And here's the other thing: there's no angles in New Japan. There's not going to be months of storytelling leading up to this. They're going to fight. That's the thing. And this is a Japanese title match angle that they set up. And to me, I'm like, okay. Now, could it have been better? I think it could have. It sucks that Mercedes debuts a new finisher and it's whiffed. Like that blows. It really does. And at the same time, I'm like, why is it so complicated? Why do we have to go into a gory bomb to flip into whatever that was supposed to be? You know, I've heard that it's Kyrie who didn't know how to take it, and Mercedes transitioned into an armbar. Like, okay, fine. Mercedes doesn't want to do the bank statement anymore, and I don't blame her. It's cool. Like, that's fine. So that could have been a little better. Her promo, look, Sasha Banks has never been a top promo person. I was just going to say, she can cut a okay promo, but she's never been the promo star.
Is it possible that the time off that she took magnitude with, like, maybe the moment she just kind of like
nervous? Listen, here's
some nerves. That's a different. I mean, maybe she was expecting more of a reaction to her coming back, and it flustered her too. I don't know. I'm going to go even more basic than this. You know, Sasha's a wrestling nerd. She's one of us. I don't know if you knew this, right? But she watches tape. A couple of weeks ago, she took a picture of her screen on her Instagram. She's watching fucking TNA from 2008. Okay, the six-sided ring, and she's taking a picture of that. She went to Ribera to get her jacket, the steakhouse in Japan. That is wrestling nerd shit. Okay, so it could on her list, and she said this years ago. One of my dreams is to wrestle in the Tokyo Dome. Yep. Well, she's not wrestling, but she's in the Tokyo Dome. She knows what this is about. She has her friends backstage. She flew them. Yeah. So she's like, man, we had we need you gotta sing.
Hello. Yeah, you gotta sing, Warren.
Oh, I have to. Okay. Kristen Ashley, the first lady of the Mr. Warren Hayes show. Yeah.
Love it. I did think about that too, because you have to, because she's been saying this for years, that this is an all-time dream of her. Now, I only can speak to my person.
Listen, an all-time dream if I had an to stand in the middle of the ring at WrestleMania, but I might choke up a little bit.
Correct. We've all had things we've been very excited about. We've all might have had dreams or bucket list things that we've accomplished. And it is only human nature that right before or even during, you're nervous, you're excited, you know what I mean? It happens to, and if she's walking out there in front of 80,000 people in an arena that she's been waiting to be in her whole life, and she, like you said, Warren, she's clearly a huge wrestling nerd. That is part of the Mercedes Sasha story, is how much of a passionate wrestling nerd she's been her whole life. It could have easily just been like, she might have walked out there and went, holy shit, I'm here.
But
I'm actually here.
To that point, to all of our points, and I just tried to make the same argument, but she is Sasha freaking Banks, though. She's supposed to be,
I get it,
the standard.
I get it.
She said, like, this should be, like, she should not have those moments, but Too Smooth, you get better, friend. And Chris and Ashley, anytime. We'll make Warren sing. We'll make him earn that Love Wrestling money. that Spencer dollar bill. But I saw, because I posted it, and I think it's just cool that she's back. I'm psyched that she's back wrestling. But I mean, I saw a lot of haters on the internet that were just like, this moment sucked. It was a waste. Blah blah blah. Again, what's with the hair?
That's what I meant when I tweeted out is like, ultimately my point that I was bringing is like, I don't know why everyone is making such a big deal out of the fact that her promo wasn't great, because Sasha's never been a great promo. She just has never been.
Hate us. That's right. Hate us gonna hate.
And then I got people coming out of nowhere. Like, oh, the promos, but Sasha should just. All right, what's the point? Like, there's people out here who are just looking to pick fights, and that's what's sad. That's ultimately what's depressing about it all. And I don't want to sit here and make excuses for what happened with Sasha, because I think the segment could have been better. We can only assume why it didn't go as well as it did, but ultimately, I can understand why a lot of people who have never watched New Japan, or who have been who are only familiar with WWE production value, let's put it that way, who saw this and were like, "What is going on? This is the flattest thing ever," but it is consistent with everyone in Japan. That's in New Japan. That's how they do it. Some champion wins, lifts the belt, either leaves, or someone comes in to challenge, and the challenge is either takes the mic and outright challenges you, or just beats them up. In this case, Sasha did both.
Yep. And Kristen says, "Can you imagine how nervous she had to be? I
Sure.
couldn't pull off a good promo either. That's a huge arena, a new place, a new promotion, a dream opportunity. Give the girl a break."
That's what we
Give
say.
the girl a break.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah, 100%.
26,000 people in attendance for WrestleMania, Wrestle Kingdom this year.
Oh, 26. Now they still have
That's what New Japan is announcing.
and they have restrictions, because usually that's a very hot. No, wait, how many people?
26,000.
Oh, is it usually that many people?
We're
I
going
felt like
back
the Tokyo
to,
Dome was one of these huge.
Yeah, we're going back to 2018, 2017, 2018 levels when we're at 26,000. If I'm not mistaken, we were closer to 30 in 2019. 2020 was a 2-night Wrestle Kingdom. The first night did 40,000 people.
Okay.
The other one was around 30,000. So,
and that was obviously in January, so right before COVID and all, and obviously since then,
yes,
with the restrictions, there have not been that many,
And those are very big years for New Japan as well, because the elite were there and so on and so forth. So it was a very very big. Those were big years. So we're back to a couple of years ago, levels from a couple of years ago. But it goes along with the idea that there's a lot of reconstruction that has to happen in New Japan. They're doing a lot of rebuilding with the talent, focusing on new guys more and more, because the old guys are getting really old, and they're broken and so on and so forth. So there's and the pandemic regulations are still existent in Japan, just about everywhere. Everything was loosened up for Wrestle Kingdom, for cheering, for it was a full capacity show. So in Japan, there's still a lot of regulations in place we have been free of for a long time now. So might take let's have this discussion next year and see how the attendance goes. But it's still very good.
So do we think that this match with Kairi Sane is one and done, and where she's done in New Japan, and she's maybe ultimately, like we kind of hinted at earlier, making her way to an AEW? Or is this her, or is there still the rumors like floating around that maybe she's doing all this and going to ultimately end back up in WWE?
I mean, not after today's news, I'd assume. That might make her mind change a little bit.
A lot of cope. I forget that.
But I also think, she's also mentioned, because the match that she's having with Kyrie is in February over here, right? It's the one that's in the Valley. It'll be in in California, I believe. San Jose. She's also mentioned that she very much wants to work Stardom, and she very much wants to do that stuff too. So, and again, for what it's worth, go ahead.
She's also name dropped in her post match. She's also name dropped Miyu, who does not work in New Japan. She works in Tokyo Joshi Pro. So she wants to freelance, which is what you do when you go to Japan. You want to work everywhere and go as many places as possible. So she look, here's what everything that we know in regards to Sasha's here's the thing, what we know about Sasha's return is that Bushiroad, the parent company of both Stardom and New Japan, is footing the bill for her because neither Stardom nor New Japan has the money.
The money to
pay.
probably afford her. Yeah.
Okay. So no one has the money to pay. So it's the parent company that's doing it. She's getting paid more. She's on a per appearance deal, and she's getting paid more than Chris Jericho got paid a couple of years ago when Chris Jericho was in New Japan.
Get your money.
So,
Good for her.
well, I mean, and
Good
I
for her.
have no problem with that.
No,
Good
of course
for
not.
her.
Yeah, good for her.
So what they want from her essentially is more North American eyeballs on the product. What product?
Yeah.
Stardom, sure, and New Japan, absolutely. That's why she's involved in the IWGP women's title thing, because the IWGP title is it's carried into Stardom, but it's a New Japan title. The International Wrestling Grand Prix, the organization that oversees the New Japan titles, is a New Japan thing. So they want more eyes on that product. So yes, she's going to defend in the United States because they want to have a good gate at the show in San Jose. They want people to buy the pay-per-view because this is going to be a pay-per-view. It's not going to be just tossed up on New Japan World. So that's going to be.
Win?
Oh, hell yeah.
I think she has to, right? You would.
Oh, yes. That's why I don't think it's a one and done thing. If anything, I really hope Bushiroad releases some numbers here, because I am convinced that they had a huge spike of subscribers for New Japan World on Wrestle Kingdom Day.
Yeah. So Bebe
to Japan.
Yeah, Bebe says right here, he goes, I watched the New Year's show on New Japan World, and Kevin Kelly said it's record-breaking subscribers right now. Record-breaking.
And I want to know what the numbers are. Like, this is the thing. Like, I want to know how much, how much people are subbed to that now because of her. And it could be just one. I saw a guy, and Kristen saw it with me. Like, one guy's like, look, he said, I subscribe. I want to watch Mercedes. I want to see her pop up on this. A soy latte doesn't even cost this much. It costs more than this is what. So I'm like, I'm gonna subscribe to this, and there was a lot of the Sasha Stan army who got into that. So that's fantastic. That's what Bushiroad wants. That's what they want.
More eyes on Stardom, great for everyone.
Yep,
and that's ultimate. I haven't seen so many people so excited for a New Japan show in a long time.
100%.
I saw with the news that Banks was going over there, it was crazy. Like, people that never talk New Japan are like, you know what, I'm in.
And look at it. And we've talked about this on here. It's not that I'm not a fan of Japanese wrestling, but I'm strictly a North American wrestling person. I watch what's over here. I did watch Wrestle Kingdom. I usually watch Wrestle Kingdom every year. That's the big one that I watch every year. But this year, I made it a point to watch it live because of what was going on. Not just the Mercedes stuff. Like, I wanted to see FTR and Omega and the people, things like that, and Ospreay and those people. But that's a big deal. And I know how great Stardom is. I hear Warren talk about it all the time. I read the PWI articles. I know how great the talent and the matches and how great of women's wrestling Stardom is. If Mercedes is going to be over there, which it seems like she's going to be doing some stuff, I'm going to go out of my way to watch that shit too. And that's what they want. They want someone like me.
Exactly.
Who only sticks to really WWE, AEW, North American stuff, to be like, no, I'm going to go watch this because, I know who Mercedes is. I'm a fan of Mercedes. I want to go watch her wrestle people that I've never seen before, wrestle a different style of wrestling. I want to see what this is about. And if they win me over, which they probably will, because I know the wrestling's great, if they win me over and it's Mercedes, whatever, Sasha being there, then that's what they want. That's what they want. And, it's just, and Kristen saying now, they pronounce that Julia, correct?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. Now, when Julia is number one on the 2023 PWI Women's 150, no one can say who.
Is it the 2023? Yeah, baby.
That's
you
awesome.
never know. Yeah, she's on. She's good too. She's a goat. Give me that.
Yeah,
match.
she is. I've actually seen some
Mercedes.
stuff of her on the social. She's quite incredible.
If y'all haven't seen her match with Shuri from Dream Queendom 2, which was the last show of the year for Stardom on December 29, you have to go out of your way to see it. It's one of the best matches of the year. It is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Just great stuff.
All right. So there are some other things I want to touch base on Wrestle Kingdom, but let's keep the Mercedes stuff as a whole here, and then we'll go back. But obviously, last night on AEW Dynamite, we've been waiting for a little while now to find out a certain tag partner who a lot of people and a lot of discourse on social medias thought, or maybe still do think, there was a strong chance that would be Mercedes as well. I am one of those people who still thinks it will. However, last night on AEW Dynamite, they told us that Toni Storm is going to be the tag partner for Saraya. And then even as earlier today,
what does
Dave
Saraya
Meltzer
got against Sakura?
I know Dave Meltzer, and I know he gets things wrong too, but Dave Meltzer reported, or at least said, that he is of the belief that she's not going to AEW.
We had a heated debate off air about this.
Where
do you lie?
Was not heated, but
I said Dave is not always right, and you're like, well, he's reputable. I said, yeah, but he's not always
no.
right.
First of all, I didn't say that. I said I know he's not always right, but people take his word as gospel. That's what I said. That's what I said. I don't think any of those three people are here. I don't think we do that, but that's what I said. But where do you lie on this, Warren? Do you think we're still going to see Mercedes next week on AEW, or do you think? Because I happen to believe, if you don't have Mercedes on the show next week, why are you having Britt Baker say, "I'm the boss" on your television show?
Because Britt Baker's a troll.
Yeah, I know, but I worry.
She's done it before.
I worry that if it's really not her next week, that crowd is not going to be they're not going to be treating those ladies pretty well during that tag match.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is headcanon that people have created for themselves. Okay, but for real though, let's do the closest comparison to this situation. Okay, CM Punk, right?
Yep.
CM Punk sold out. Oh, Kristen has she has strong opinions about this.
Dude.
I want to hear your opinions too, Kristen, in the chat. I want to hear everybody's opinions.
There you go. Everyone's opinions.
Come on in.
CM Punk, although Kristen could probably sell out the United Center too, but CM Punk sold out the United Center without AEW announcing specifically the debut of CM Punk is tonight, right? We all remember this.
Mm-hmm.
He was never announced. But my God, were they hinting at it, right? And it's not just subtle hints. They were ham-fisting the clues, right? There was Darby Allin saying in a promo, is like, I'm ready to fight everyone, even if it's the best in the world, right?
Yeah.
And you have Kenny Omega wearing Cookie Monster t-shirts in reference to the CM of CM Punk, right? Like, it's like they were laying it thick week after week and on BTE. It's like, all right. So the expectation is very clear. 100% clear. It's like I was in the United States. Kristen and I rented a car. We went to the United Center. We bought tickets to go see this.
I'm still kicking myself for not doing it.
Yeah.
Should have went.
But saying this is CM Punk's return to wrestling, we have to be there, right? Kind of thing. But he hadn't been announced.
True.
Okay.
But what if CM Punk didn't show up that night? How would you have felt in the crowd?
Then I think there is a 100% legitimate reason to feel like you've been conned, and I'm not trying to be funny here, but that you've been suckered out of your money because you've been guided down this path. Now, the thing with the Mercedes stuff now, outside of the boss thing, where she winks on top of that. You're like, okay, we
it's
get
literally
it.
like just like really pouring it on. Really pouring it on.
Outside of that, there has been no indications. Nothing. Now, if Saraya had come out last week and said, something to the effect, I'm going to find myself a partner, and that's my statement, and you can take it to the bank. Then you're like, oh, okay. It's like, but there's been nothing. I have some theories behind that. Maybe it's because AEW was being super careful because Sasha was still under contract until the end of the year. So they were like, no, we're not even going to mention it. We don't want to get into trouble. We're just going to wait. And then the first opportunity they have the week before, no, Tony Storm is the partner. There, settled. It's done. What expectation can you have at this point? What expectation can you have for Sasha Banks to be there? Excuse me, Mercedes Moné to be there now that the partner's been announced. You can't keep Wrestling Brain from not being Wrestling Brain. Hikaru Shida clearly was offended by this. She could take out Tony out.
And then
at the start of the show. Yep. At the start of the show, and then Saraya's on the phone. She has to call in a favor.
But in time, she'll get there right in time for the main event, the big moment.
Boom.
Beat LA traffic to get there on time.
Exactly. Yeah. Sorry, I just took a quick little red eye from Japan on over here. I made it. Exactly. I made it. I'm here.
I'm here. I'm good. And look, frankly, there's a Rampage on Friday. They have another Battle of the Belts. They can do shit on social media if they want, right?
Yep.
But frankly, at this point, if anyone is buying a ticket, saying to themselves, Mercedes Moné is going to show up, I don't know what to tell them at this point. I really don't. I don't know what to tell them. Again, there can be multiple things to happen. And here's something else I want to throw at you. Here's the other thing. If I'm Tony Khan and my ratings aren't as great as they were a year ago because I no longer have Phil Brooks around, my biggest draw, why would I not announce that Sasha Banks is going to be there?
It's true.
Right.
We're saving there's a surprise. He
still loves that surprise.
He loves the surprise though. He loves them.
I know what you're saying, but he loves that.
He's coming up with renegotiations too, He's coming up he's got his rights deals coming up with Warner Bros, Discover Bros now. So it's coming down the line for him too. And the guys who really liked AEW and pushed for it in TNT, they're all gone. He's dealing with the whole new ownership at this point. So why wouldn't you announce it? Why wouldn't you get the enormous ratings pop where you can then turn to your officials and say, look, we've locked down Mercedes Moné for X amount of years, whatever, X amount of months for this amount. And look at the ratings that she brings in. Look at the pops. Look at the ratings she's bringing in. Look at the business she's generating. I mean, at some point, I'm befuddled at why you would keep this as a surprise, as opposed to just putting it out there and being like, "Yep, she's going to be here with us next week." Because she did say at the press conference, "You guys are the first in New Japan." She said, "I'm glad to be here. You guys are the first to get me." Right, and that's another thing that people picked up on. It's like, oh shit, the first, of course, because she's going to wrestle elsewhere. Calm down.
Do you think she wrestles in a wrestling ring before her match with Sane?
Well, I would like her to do that. And I think it's important. I think she has to have a tune-up match somewhere.
Yeah.
There's a Wrestle Kingdom Night 2 show.
Yeah, it's like next week though, right?
In Yokohama.
Or a couple weeks.
Next week or the week after, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, throw her on there, put her on a Stardom show at some point. Just let her get the kinks out. Let's get the optics of the first match away, which is something I wish they had done with Saraya too. I thought that her first return match should not have been on pay-per-view. She should have done at the very least a tag team match. Same thing that she should do here, right? Yeah. I think she needs that. I think she needs a tune-up match before. Not because she's a terrible wrestler, but she hasn't wrestled.
She hasn't wrestled. I was gonna say at this point when they leave, like last May or June, like we're it's over. It's been 6-7. It's been a while.
Even LeBron James needs to take a few jump shots after an off season, you know.
And then we
cutting
have
off Warren there.
Yeah, no, I know we had Kristen with her. Well, I said I wanted her thoughts, so she said I got thoughts. I'm always of the I'll believe it when I see it. All scoopsters have been wrong. I'm not convinced she'll be there, and people acting like it's a sure thing. That's kind of on them. AEW has a terrible track record of treating women not great. That is true. In my opinion, Mercedes will not be the exception to that rule. I'm scared she'll go there and be shelved. I just have my concerns. Not to mention, if she does come, some other women will get shelved. Not great. So I do think those are all valid.
That is a factor. This division, as much as he's made strides, is still not where it needs to be in terms of being seen and being used properly.
That's the issue, because he has.
And Mercedes wasn't putting up with it in the Fed. She's not going to put up with it in AEW.
He's going to have less of a rope. He's going to have less of a rope.
You think?
Yeah.
Because she, because the AEW's women division is deep. The talent that they have accrued is ridiculous, but they have no time to put it on to really showcase it, because Tony Khan is like, no, it's 1/4 hour a week. All right,
no need to apologize, Kristen. You are allowed to bring.
Why? Yeah, you don't apologize at all. I asked for that. I asked for that.
That's fine.
Yeah,
that is fine.
But I promise you, if you look honest, I'm being honest. If you guys want to see a full-on meltdown online next week, if Mercedes shows up on AEW, follow at Kristen Ashley on Twitter.
I already do.
She's going to lose her mind.
If she shows up next week on AEW, Kristen, we'll book you on Beards. She can come.
Yeah, I got to book her on Beards. Let her have her moment. We'll let her pop on here. She can vent her issue. She can vent
whatever she wants.
Let it out.
That's
if
amazing.
She shows up. If she shows up. She just doesn't want to be on the show. It's fine. I wouldn't want to be either. I wouldn't want to be either. It's all right. It's all right. She goes, I was going to keep my thoughts to myself. And we got too smooth. It's all right. You're young, man. Said he's so embarrassed. He thought we were talking about the car Mercedes. It's all right, bud. It's all right, bud.
Well, I knew with like Saraya joining AEW and Renee Paquette joining AEW, I thought, okay, this is a good thing, because that's two women who are, big personalities in this wrestling world that aren't going to take shit, so to speak, from Tony Khan and be like, we want to see this division progress. And Mercedes would be another one of those. I think if you get her, there needs to be a refocus, and you need to refigure out, because you can't go weeks and weeks and weeks without seeing a Sasha Banks type on your program if you're gonna, right? I just would hope that if Tony Khan signs her, there is this like, okay, we've got the pieces in place to make this division as good as we had said it was going to be from day one. Because Brandy Rhodes and them really went hard on this. Women's wrestling is going to be this, it's going to be, and then they just completely scrapped it.
They set themselves up for the expectation. This is all on them. Like you said, Brandy Rhodes coming out and saying we're going to have the biggest, greatest women's division and so on, and they're going to be paid like the men. Remember that? They're going to be paid on the same level as the men. Featured. They created the expectation for me. I'm not pulling this out of my ass.
No, I know. Yeah. And they did create that.
There's
and
video.
Then Warren's tightening up. It's getting cold in there. We do have Bebe in the chat. He says, in all fairness, we don't know what Sasha's been doing as far as training goes. I heard Tommy Dreamer say that he ran into her and she was a little while back, and she was training lucha style, and Tommy added that she was doing it all on her own and on her own dime. So who knows who or when she's been training and stuff like that. So
I mean, she's always been, that's always what she's been doing. That the first time when she took her break from her extended leave from WWE, she ended up over with Sendai Girls, with Miko Satomura's group, and she was training over there. There were pictures of her that were out there of her training with Satomura. So that's what I'm saying when I tell you she's a nerd, she's a wrestler. The only difference between her and us is that she's actually does it.
I know. Right. All right.
She actually. So anyway,
I do. Oh, hey, we got someone from Argentina popping in. Hello. We are from the United States. Well, I am from the United States. Pluggo right here is from the United States, but our friend Warren down here is from our brothers up north. He's from Canada. But we are all from North America. Thank you for being here. I don't want to pronounce that wrong. Faka, I don't know. I don't want to pronounce it wrong. I apologize if I did. But thanks for popping in. Argentina.
Look at that. We're worldwide,
rocking
baby.
and rolling. Worldwide, baby. Manscaped.com. Promo code Love Wrestling. All right. Have you watched New Year's Dash yet, Warren?
Not yet.
Do you know?
That's what I wanted to do tonight. But then you got
it was spur of the moment.
Oh,
Things
sorry.
happened. Things happen. I'm sorry. I have not watched the whole thing either, but I obviously
Way to
saw.
go, JPJ.
I obviously saw. Have you avoided everything? Are you one of those?
Every single.
We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it. Yes, I'm not going to do that to you.
Let's talk Wrestle Kingdom if you want.
We will talk Wrestle Kingdom. Yes, I was going to mention one thing about New Year's Dash, but I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. We're not going to do it because Warren hasn't watched it yet.
Was that what they called AEW Dynamite last night?
No, New Year's Dash is the show that they do the day after Wrestle Kingdom. It happens every year. Plug. Go watch the fucking product. I'm just kidding. That's a joke.
Sorry.
That's a joke.
I was like, wait a minute.
That's a joke. That's a joke.
Sure we, they had a show
okay.
about it last
so we got, technically we got all the time in the world. This is our show. We can.
He's on vacation.
Yeah. Oh, Kristen, ruin it for him. He's on vacation. He should have seen it already. Oh no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to let him enjoy that moment naturally, and then I hope he'll just reach out to me on Twitter and he'll understand what I was probably going to ask.
And then we got Bebe saying Will Ospreay. When you see, you'll be pissed.
We're not talking about anything. Stop. Do not anybody say shit in the comments. We're not going to do that to Warren.
No,
I'm not going to do it to Warren.
I don't watch wrestling, bruh. I watch.
Anyway, Wrestle Kingdom. We don't have to dive into a full-on review of the stuff, but I did watch it. I thought it was a very, very good show.
I
thought
too.
Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega was just a work of art. I loved it.
One of the greatest matches I've ever seen.
There you go. I agree. You know what match? And again, we can kind of hit what you thought. Obviously, if you said that's one, so I'm assuming that was your favorite match. That was the best match of the night in your eyes.
Oh,
I'm assuming by far and away.
Like it's not even close. It's remarkable.
Match of the year already on January 4th.
Oh, I mean, anyone look.
We need to write that down so we don't forget.
We will not forget it. And if you watch that match, it was.
No, it's memorable. This is one of these where it just sticks with you. I'm gonna tell what I really like the most about this match, and I know Will Ospreay.
He's for everybody.
Everyone's cup of tea for multiple reasons. Inside the ring, outside the ring, I get it. Okay, but what I appreciated the most out of this match was seeing Will basically work every style he's ever worked in his career to try and beat Kenny Omega. Because he went back to the flippy doo shit. He did some lucha shit. He was backyarding it. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but Will Ospreay never trained in a wrestling school. He learned
that. I did not know
he's
that.
a backyarder. Yeah.
And he's that friggin' good, huh?
Yeah. This is what's nuts about the guy.
Yeah.
So he's doing the backyard shit when he's getting rammed, when his head is being rammed against the table. The way
the greatest wrestler of all time.
I mean, brawling, aerial technique, everything that Will Ospreay has learned just came through at different moments in this match, and he poured everything out to try and get Kenny Omega to lay it down on his back for 3 seconds. And it was fantastic. Like, it was just brilliant stuff. And Omega, just the greatest fucking heel.
Oh, he's amazing.
Just amazing.
He's amazing. Were you surprised by the result?
Yes.
Okay.
But then I'm like, oh shit, the main event for Forbidden Door 2 is here. This is what we're doing. Now I see Tony Khan calling up Gedo and saying, and after sure, I'll send you Omega. But you send me Ospreay so that we can do the main event in June here in the States.
Yeah.
Like, it's fantastic. It's it that's going to sell out the show in a blink. You thought the show sold out quickly last year? Watch out this year. It's going to do fantastic. There is no bigger crossover main event that you can do right now for North American fans than Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega 2, with the prospect of Will Ospreay finally
getting the win back. Omega. Yeah, getting the title. Yeah, winning it back. Bebe says Will had a YouTube channel showing him wrestling with his friends on a trampoline, and it still exists today. It's pretty cool. Okay. Yeah, that match was fantastic. I thought the main event was really good too. I know we've seen it a bunch with Jay White and Okada, maybe because I am not an avid New Japan guy and it was still kind of fresh to me. I don't know if you have different opinions, but I thought it was a good main event. I honestly didn't expect Okada to win. Maybe that's just me. Again, I'm not an avid regular viewer. So, and Pluggo, have you watched Wrestle Kingdom at all? Any of it? Good.
That's what I was going to.
So me and Warren will talk here. You can chime in when you want. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm going to do that tonight. That's my finish out my vacation with some Wrestle Kingdom tonight after the show. But I saw enough online to know what's going down. So you're not going to spoil anything for me. But,
that's fair.
No, I did okay. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Well, first and foremost, before we dive into the main event, can I tell you, I did not think that I was going to enjoy a Tama Tonga versus Carl Anderson match as much as I enjoyed that one. I had thoroughly enjoyed the match between those two gentlemen. Anyway, I don't know if anyone agrees, but I thought that was a very good match. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I'm just here for the company.
Anyway, I just wanted to say that out in the world.
But the with the gun stun at the end.
He did. It was bad. I don't know what happened there and why. That was, to me, that was like the ending happened, and I was like, oh, that kind of fucked it a little bit. But I thought the match overall, I was like, that was actually pretty good. I enjoyed that match.
It wasn't bad. I was all right.
Yeah. Yes. But for the main event, give me your opinions on the main event. Did you expect Okada to win the title? So you went and you were not surprised about the result. No. All right. So what did you think about the main event? Because I know this is not the first Okada. It's a good book. This is not the first Okada Jay White match that we've seen by any means. So
I don't think it's their best one either. It was very good. It was a very good main event. I don't think it's their best one either. But it delivered. Here's the thing. It's like, why would you have that match follow Omega Ospreay?
Yeah, I feel like Omega Ospreay, even though it's not for the heavyweight title, I do feel like when you look back on it now as a completed event, Omega and Ospreay should have main evented that show.
What match could you have put on after that that's going to fall? I don't think anybody's in that spot.
You could have put the tag team match. You could have put Tama Tonga and Carl Anderson, which would have been absolutely fine too. Just stuff that'll just cleanse your palate a little bit and give you some time to cool down, because that Tokyo Dome audience was into Omega Ospreay. It was ridiculous. Oh yeah. So I think it probably held. I think it probably hampered the main event a little bit energy wise, because you just saw something absolutely mind blowing, like a legendary match, and then you go to the main event and you're like, oh right, there's another match, and oh great, okay, and it's Okada and Jay White, and suddenly I'm not quite as excited. I'm sort of spent. I'm burnt out. Yeah. I was expecting Okada to win. It's the end of the 50th anniversary of the 50-year celebration of New Japan, which just happened to be compounded with the death of Antonio Inoki. Yep. So all of Wrestle Kingdom was dedicated to the memory of Inoki. They referenced it more than enough. Okada referenced it in his post-match promo as well. So, I mean, there was no way this Wrestle Kingdom was ending without the hero, the golden boy, holding the title over the dastardly Jay White, who he just wanted this for his own ego, right? He's like, you're not going to take this away from me. He was telling him that during the match. He said, you're not taking this away from me, Whereas Okada was doing it for pro wrestling, for the
pro
fans,
wrestling, for Japan, for Inoki,
for the sport, for the memory of Antonio Inoki, because he's this top-notch baby face, right? That's what he does. But I thought it was well worked. Don't get me wrong, and I really liked the final stretch. It's again, it's stuff we've seen before. I don't even think it's Jay White's best match with Okada. It was all right. But I think there's, it was weird booking. Oh yeah, go Canada. There we go.
They just won, I believe, the World Juniors. I believe they just won the gold in OT, according to Ophelia right there. So congrats to Warren and our other fellow Canadian fans. You have yet another hockey trophy.
When do they take on Charlie Conway in the USA
This is Nationals, Pluggo. They go by countries, bro. All right.
Well, yeah, but if you remember in D2,
yeah, Mighty Ducks too. I get it. I've seen them all.
Yeah, they were the United States Ducks.
I know they were.
You know what I'm saying? Come
on. So you did say obviously that Jay White is a very dastardly character and stuff like that. I thought at the end of the match, he showed Okada like a sign of respect, almost like he got up and he kind of I don't know. I don't know if I didn't listen to any of the promos or any of the press conferences after, but like he got up and he kind of walked over to Okada and was kind of leaning on his shoulder a little bit.
He didn't walk. He crawled.
Yeah, basically. And I don't know if he said anything. And it was early in the morning at that point. I was tired. I went to bed immediately after. I'm sick. So like I was going through a lot, but it seemed like it was like, was that a sign of respect? Was that him saying like, fuck you, I'm coming back for you? Or like, what was exactly that? Like, what was your outcome
Jay
of that?
White is a petulant child when he loses. And he is wonderful for that. He gets pinned. And what is the first thing he does after he gets pinned? After he sells the finisher, because it's the Rainmaker, right? Mm-hmm. And he's crawling towards the corner where the belt has been left. He's crawling over there and everyone's celebrating. Okada's getting up and he's wiping the sweat off, and the referee's raising his hand and whatnot. Meanwhile, Jay White, he's just with everything he has, he's just gone through a grueling match. He's eaten a Rainmaker. He's almost dead, but he's holding his belt and he's up in the corner. And Red Shoes comes to get the belt. And he's like, no, I don't want to let it go. I don't want to let it go. And finally he does, begrudgingly. It's not like, okay, here. He sort of goes, fine.
Yeah.
Take it,
having a temper tantrum.
And then he crawls to Okada and pulls, and Okada's sort of looking at him and said, what the hell? Get out of my ring.
Yeah, like, what are you doing?
And he crawls up and he just stares at him and, sure, he says something to him.
Yeah, exactly. I was just like, what is he saying? Like,
he's playing Jay White, who lost a match. And it's fantastic. I loved it.
Bebe saying he heard Okada and Jay White were saying New Japan Stars had to be the final match, but seems Kenny and Ospreay would have been qualifying to him.
He's not wrong, and the thing is, Japan is much more traditionalistic. When it comes to
heavyweight title closes the show all the time.
There you go. That. So I'm definitely not saying Ospreay and Okada should have closed the show, because look, on top of that, let's not be completely dumb here. It's a little weird. It would have been a little weird for your Japanese show to be closed by two Gaijin wrestlers.
Mm-hmm. Especially for like the IWGP United States Championship.
On top of that,
there's other things going on,
involved. I keep forgetting there's a title involved.
Yeah.
Even though Ospreay is signed to New Japan, right? Mm-hmm. It would have been a little strange, It's one of the reasons I'm sure we didn't get FTR versus Aussie Open for the titles. That Aussie Open didn't win World Tag League, and they went with Bishamon instead.
I thought that match was excellent as well.
That was a lot of fun. That was a good one. Because everyone wanted to see FTR Aussie Open too. Mm-hmm. But, even when I was doing my predictions, like, if I'm New Japan, do I want two Gaijin wrestlers fighting for these titles? It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And turns out I was right.
All right. So for somebody like Pluggo, who is going to be watching New Japan Wrestle Kingdom this weekend or after, or for somebody that hasn't watched the show but they want to, I know we obviously talked about the bigger matches and the Mercedes stuff. What are some other matches that you thoroughly enjoyed on this show that you think people should either go out of their way to see, or like when Pluggo's watching, like, hey, make sure you're paying attention during this match? Like, what were some standout matches to you that we haven't discussed yet?
Well, I think the opener is very good. Catch 2-2 versus Lee Yo, which is the team of Leo Rush and Yo.
Sold already. I love
TJP is in
Leo Rush.
And TJP and Francesco Akira.
Yeah.
And the thing with those two dudes, TJP and Akira, they were thrown together as a tag team this year, and they have gelled so quickly and so like they had some fantastic matches. They carried Super Junior Tag League this year. It was amazing every time. So this match, a little short, but with the time that they had, all four of those guys did the maximum possible. Leo Rush gets busted open.
I was going to say, he got hurt, right? Like he had to be taken out of a few matches coming up too because of it, right? So he got kind of
he has
messed up.
He has to pull out of Battle of Los Angeles.
Yes, yeah.
No, it's been fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So that's a good one. Most of the show is very good. If there's one that you can absolutely skip, it's the sadly enough not sadly enough, but the one you skip is the Great Muta's Kaiji Muto's final.
Yeah, that was with Tanahashi and
there was nothing. There's
Shota Umino. He's a future big deal in New Japan.
Well,
right?
Look,
is that the deal?
He got the win. He got the pin.
Yeah.
In this match here, so that's significant. Yes, I think they want. I think they want him to be a big star, and I think he will be. Yeah, because he has the look. I still think it's great that he's carrying around Mox's jacket that he bequeathed to him. He doesn't wear it, but he carries it.
Because he was the young boy, right? That Mox was messing with when Mox, right? That's the whole. Yeah. Okay.
And it's crazy how much that rub still carries him, like in North America, right? Maybe less in Japan, but in North America, when he comes here, everyone loves him. But it's still that association carried him so far. So that's really the only match that I'd skip, because there was really nothing to it. And Kaiji Muto's broken down, and he teased to do a moonsault and didn't do it. That was the big things, like, will Kaiji Muto do a moonsault? There's some nice elements to it, like Sonata's in the match, and Sonata was a student of Kaiji Muto, so they got to fight. But then again, it's like it's all very cursory and bleh. Yeah, and I can't stand Kaiji Muto anymore. That's a whole other thing.
Got homework
tonight. It's a good show. It's a long show. But it's a good show.
Over 6 hours, I think, or something like that. And
if you include the intermissions and the pre-show.
Yeah, exactly. So if you pick your parts, Pluggo, you can make it a regular time.
I might not catch it all tonight, but I'll catch it because I was on vacation this weekend, and that was one of the shows or this week where it was like I was spending time with fam doing some other things. And I was like, I'll definitely catch it.
I say skip the pre-show, but there's a 3-minute exhibition of a wrestler named Oleg Boltin.
Yes.
That New Japan has been high on for the past couple of years. They've been training him. Yuji Nagata brought him in. There's a bunch of guys in the office that are really, really high on the guy. He's a Kazakhstani amateur wrestler. Like, he's an Olympic wrestler. And the guy's a brick house. And he's fantastic, and he's the kind of, and so it's a 3-minute exhibition where he's fighting a young lion and he's throwing him around, but not like in a WWE I'll throw you around kind of thing. Like it's a good one, but he's using his strength, and it's 3 minutes, short, in and out, and they're finally starting to get this guy out into the world. They want people to get behind him, because I think he has something special. And I was looking at the guy and I was like, Antonio Inoki would have loved this guy, because Inoki loved to bring in outsiders, international stars, big beefy guys to just fuck them up, like Vader. When Vader debuted in New Japan, Vader beats Antonio Inoki in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And that was it Karukan Hall? Was it Karukan Hall, or I can't remember exactly the venue.
But it was at like a big venue, right? Yeah.
They were so pissed. The people were so pissed. They were setting fire to the seat cushions and throwing them around. And it was to the point that the venue banned pro wrestling for years afterwards.
That's incredible. I did not know that part of the story. Yeah. I knew Vader beat Inoki. I know that. I did not know that second half of the story.
But his debut comes in and he beats Antonio Inoki in 3 minutes. People were mad.
Yeah.
They were pissed.
Bebe saying that the dude, I'm assuming he's referring to Bolton, has tree trunks for legs. Trunks for legs.
Yeah.
All
Right,
Hab
cool. Guy, what's good, Hab Guy? Yeah,
I know. Good to see you. Well, we know why he wasn't here because he was focused. He was focused on Canadian hockey. Dang it. Well, Smooth, we're glad you're back. Now that you're back, we're leaving. So not on purpose, buddy. We love you. But we've gone 2 hours. We've had Warren here. We talked the gamut tonight. We talked Vince McMahon for the first hour, the majority. We talked Mercedes, some Wrestle Kingdom. We had a really, really good show tonight.
Spencer gets really mad when we go overtime with Warren.
Well, overtime means time and a half. So, Spencer's like, what the hell, guys? It's the first one of the new year. You gotta blow it that quickly. Yes. And Hab Guy saying totally on purpose. He has not been here. He's been more watching the World Juniors. And Kristen says, well, you should know better with Warren. It's true.
We love having you as always, Warren.
Yeah, you know the drill. We say it every time, but we mean it clearly because you keep wanting to come back on. So that means clearly we're doing something right too.
Guy, is that real? Violence is Forever called out FTR? I want to see that match, please.
Wait, what? When did that? Who? What? Huh?
I don't know when that happened. But
when did that happen?
That would be a match I would want to see. Where is that at?
Who did when?
I just watched. I haven't finished it, but the class of 2022. Violence Forever was in the opening match. Shout out to Dominic Carini for getting some trunks that don't worry me. He always had them shorts look like they're about to fall off. I love the guy.
Hab Guy saying it is real. For the IWTV tag team titles, they call them out. Oh, that'll okay.
Let's go.
All right. Fuel to the rumors that FTR want to run the Indies. They want to take a break from TV wrestling this year. So,
hey.
I mean, that's a good way to start. If that's what they're doing, that's a good way to start. Oh,
and
yeah.
If I'm FTR, I'm sitting there going, I don't want to go back now either.
Well, with the news today, either like I'd go back and work for Paul, but I'm not going back and working for that guy. So
Tony will tell him take some time off. You can
go ahead, take some time off, do the Indies, whatever. Warren, let the fine people here, and thank you all for everybody in the chat tonight. Everybody that's been in there giving us good comments and giving us some other stuff to talk about as well. We appreciate you all. So Warren, let the fine people here know where they can find you and where they can listen to you.
Did he freeze, or is that me?
Did he freeze right as I was giving him the moment?
Well, Too Smooth Ale. We'll talk baseball coming up soon because
what happened to Warren?
We're in the new year, so pitchers and catchers.
What are the odds?
Soon, so we will talk some baseball, but we do have to get out of here soon. I don't know if Warren's coming back in.
I don't either. Oh,
he does have a cute face.
But I believe you can go to youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes. And you can go for
there we go.
All right, there you are. He's back. Thank God. I was like, oh my God, what impeccable timing. Impeccable timing. Like literally starting to speak and just
usually me.
Let's rewind that. Warren, let the fine people know where they can find you and where they can listen to you.
What a shocker. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'll do that. Thank you. YouTube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes. You can go subscribe to that right now, and you'll be privy to the live recordings of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show, which happen every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's always a good time there. And also you'll have access to my AEW Dynamite reviews that I record and release the day after. So there's a brand new one out today for that exciting, eventful Dynamite from last night, which I felt a little WWE-ish at sometimes. And I cover my concerns anyway during this review here. So youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes, or you can also pick up the audio on your favorite podcast feed as well. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. I'm there. And thank you both for having me on. Is this your first of the year? This is the first one.
The first one of the new year. Yeah.
You're starting out in debt, baby.
Not yet.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
Thank you for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. Sure, when things work out like this, it's always a pleasure to jump on. You guys are great.
Absolutely. We were glad you had the time to come on. I know I kind of just saw you in the chat and was like, you know what? If you're free, you hop on in here. We got some shit to talk about. So, yeah. And,
you break things down so well in terms of like,
and that's another reason
like
that I wanted you on
stuff,
here. Exactly.
I don't know nothing. I'm just like,
yeah, I mean,
I mean, I haven't even watched Wrestle Kingdom yet. Who am I? I don't know what I'm doing.
Exactly. I mean, I ask myself that every week. I'm with you, buddy. No, I'm just kidding. I love you. Pluggo, let the people know where they can find you individually, and let the people know where they can find us, my friend.
But yes, Too Smooth. We're not going to wait till March to talk baseball.
We talk all the sports here. You hop on in. Today there was a big news day. It is what it is. But you pop back in next week or after that. We talk about anything and everything.
But anyway, you can find me at Pluggo_ on Twitter or at Pluggo on all the other social medias. Just search at Pluggo. This face will pop up at B2 Beards for all of the show news, what we've got going on all social medias. So you stay there. You'll find out what we've got going on. You never know when I'll pop up on the next stream. I might hop on the brunch gimmick this Sunday to finish off my vacation, to also pay for Warren's expensive appearance today. I'll have to do a few more shows this week. But yeah, that's where you can find me. JPJ, go ahead and close us out, baby.
Yeah, you can find me at Joseph_Poulin Jr. on the Twitter machine. You can also find me at JPJ Loves Gaming over on the Twitch. Got a couple new bells and whistles over there. We're starting to look like an actual, like I care about streaming with all the new graphics and stuff like that.
Yeah, you are.
So that's been a lot of fun as well. So go give me some love over there. Again, Warren, thank you for being here. Thank you for hopping on. Always a pleasure. Always welcome. Go give him some love over on the YouTubes and watch his shows. I watch them. I listen to them. They're great. I'm about to get off here and listen to the AEW Dynamite review while I play some video games. That's
there's multiple YouTubes. You always say on the YouTube.
Did I say YouTubes? Did I do that?
You always
Did I sound old there?
Do
I always?
The
Why is this the first time you're telling me then, bro? Look out for it, brother.
New year, new me, baby.
God damn. Ophelia, thank you so much. We appreciate you being in here.
It was a fantastic show. More.
That's fine. If I do it all the time, why am I only hearing about it now, Pluggo? I don't like to look like a damn
Kevin
fool.
Owens breakup Festival of Friendship episode coming soon.
Unbelievable. Anyway, for Warren Hayes, for Pluggo, I am JPJ. Thank you all for joining us. And until next week, you know the drill. Peace out.
Get yourself help and your progress. I'm only taking 12 steps.